Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video I'm going to be doing a mermaid set of acrylic nails, so I hope you all enjoy watching. I'm working on my Glamerliz practice hand, and in today's set I'm going to be using the Glitterama acrylic system. So first up I'm going to be using this gorgeous pink which is called Tutti Fruity. Now I'm going to be doing an ombre with this colour, so I'm placing it down on the nail and I'm going to blend it back first of all. However, I was using a different acrylic brush here to what I'm used to using. Usually I use my Glitter Planet Aqua brush, I think in a size 12. And I'd got some acrylic in it, so it was currently soaking in monomer, so I was using this one, but I just couldn't get on with it. So I switch here to my Love by CJP brush, which again, this is a little bit smaller than what I'm used to working with, so it's not what I'm used to. However, I preferred it to the brush I was using at the start. So that's why I switched up brush. Anyway, moving back on to the nails. So I'm going to be doing an ombre on this nail, so I'm making sure that that pink colour is blended out. I'm not applying too much of a thick layer because I also want to add some glitter to this nail as well. So I'm trying to keep my colour nice and thin. I am going to give that a minute or two to set before I come in with the next colour, which is Blue Lagoon. I absolutely love this Glitterama colour. It's one of my favourites. And I'm going to place that down at the cuticle area. I'm tilting the finger downwards and I'm going to tap that acrylic up into place, getting it as close to the cuticle as possible without touching. And then I'm just going to blend the top of that bead of acrylic down. Now, as you can see, that blend line is a little bit harsh, so I'm going to come in with another bead of the Blue Lagoon to fix that up. So I'm going to place down a slightly wetter bead of that colour. I'm going to just tap it back to blend it in with the previous bead, and then I'm bringing the top of that bead of acrylic down over the Tutti Fruity. Now, because Blue Lagoon has a slight shimmer to it, it does overpower the pink. So what I'm going to do is just come in with a really small bead of the Tutti Fruity right at that tip area, tap it into place and then blend it back, just so we've got that pop of pink there. Now, I think these two colours worked really together in an ombre, and I was quite pleased with how the ombre turned out. However, I did want to add some glitter over the top of it. So I'm coming in with this glitter mix from Charlie's Nail Art. This one is called Mystic Lagoon, I believe. And it is absolutely stunning. It's the perfect mermaid mix. I do have a discount code for Charlie's, which is always in the description box below. And this set of nails was also part of a Charlie's Nail Art collaboration. So I will leave all the info and links in the description box below in case you want to come take part in next Friday's collaboration. The only rule is you use at least one product from Charlie's. Now, she has a huge selection of nail art products at such low prices. So again, the website and discount code are in my description box, so do check those out. Once I'm happy with how that glitter is placed, I'm just going to leave it to set and I will cap it further along in the video. Next up, I'm going to be using Glitterama's Mermaid Dreams. This colour is very similar to Blue Lagoon, but rather than having a subtle shimmer, this has more of a full-on glitter. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm placing that down roughly at my apex area and just tapping it up towards the cuticle. Again, being really careful not to get any on the cuticle. And then I'm just pulling that colour down the nail. Now, this particular bead of acrylic was a little bit too dry, so that's why it's not coming down the nail easily. So I'm just patting that out as best as I can, and then I'll build up the rest of the nail in a moment. I'm just making sure to get it as smooth as possible. And then I'm coming in with my second bead, just blending that back slightly into that previous bead of acrylic and then pulling it down towards the tip. I then felt as though the tip just looked a little bit transparent, so I come in with another small bead just to correct that. And all the while as well, you'll see I tap and rub over my acrylic quite a lot with my brush, and that's because I want my application to be as smooth and as even as possible. The neater your acrylic application is, the less filing you're going to have, and I personally hate the filing, so I really try to work on my acrylic application and getting that as neat as possible. On top of this nail, I'm going to be adding some angel paper. So that acrylic is still tacky. I've just wiped over it with some monomer to help the angel paper stick in place. And then this angel paper is also from Charlie's Nail Art. I've just cut this up into some little strips and I'm sticking it down on that acrylic. Now, it's a little hard to see at the moment, but once it's capped and top coated, it looks absolutely beautiful. Moving on to the ring finger, I'm going to be doing a 4-colour marble. So I'm going to be using the Tutti Fruity and the Blue Lagoon. They're the 2 colours I used in my ombre. However, I'm then also going to be using Juniper, which is this gorgeous lilac purple colour. And then I'm also going to be using Powder Blue, which, as you can see, it's a really soft blue. To begin the marble, I'm going to double dip into Blue Lagoon and Tutti Fruity. I'm placing this down at the cuticle area, tapping it into place and then washing that colour down the nail. I'm simply doing this so I can get a neat cuticle area and not have to worry about doing it with my marble. I'm then going to come in with wet beads of those colours. I'm using 3 colours at a time, just placing them down on the nail and then swirling my brush through them. Now, the thing I love the most about acrylic marbles is they never come out the same. You know, you can work with your acrylic so differently and you can work your brush through the colours differently. So each time your marble is going to look different depending on the look you're going for. I wanted these colours to run through each other quite a lot. So that's why I'm coming in with 3 colours at a time and just zigzagging through them. Try not to overplay with your colours when you're doing an acrylic marble because otherwise they can bleed and run together and it ends up looking a bit mushy. So just do as less as you can with them. So as you'll see, when I pull my brush through them, I'm not overplaying with that acrylic. Now, because this set of nails had the whole mermaid vibe to it, I wanted to come in with some chrome powders. So what I'm doing is just picking up a tiny amount of the chrome powders using my monomer and my brush. I'm not adding any clear acrylic, I'm just dipping straight into the chrome powder. And I'm picking up the tiniest amount and just running it through that marble. Now, these particular mirror chrome powders, they can be quite overpowering. A little bit goes a long way. So when you're adding them into designs like this, you really want to pick up the tiniest amount. I believe these particular mirror chrome powders are from NSI, but I've had them absolutely ages. I don't think they're available anymore, like these particular ones, but you can pick these up from all sorts of nail art places. And what I'm doing is I'm just sort of making these swirl through the marble. So although I'm placing quite a bit down to begin with, you do see me wiping off quite a bit as well, just because I want them to only be thin lines. It looks a bit messy and random at the moment, but again, it's one of those things that once it's capped and top coated, it pulls it all together and it ends up looking quite pretty. And once again, I'll encapsulate these nails once we get further along in the video. So on to the little finger, I'm going to be doing a full nail of Tutti Fruity. So I'm placing my first bead down at that cuticle area, always tilting the finger downwards when I'm working in the cuticle area, because this will stop that acrylic running back and flooding the cuticles. And then I'm just pulling that colour down towards the free edge, and I'm going to continue doing this until I've built up all of the colour on the entire nail. Just patting and pressing that acrylic from side to side, and then I like to blend the top of the bead down the nail. Now, these particular colours from Glitterama are strength powders, I believe, so you can build up your structure with them as well, which was actually what I decided to do. Now, I don't usually do this. I usually paint on quite a thin layer and then encapsulate in clear, but today I was just feeling like building the nail up with the colour, so I've pretty much built up all of my strength and structure, and then I just come in with another small bead down at that apex area just because it was looking a little flat. Now, these nails don't need a huge apex because they're not super long, so you don't need to add a whacking great big apex or anything like that. You just want a little bit extra product in that back third to help balance the nail out. And it was a little bit tricky because my Glamerliz hand is on a clamp, but I was just trying to show you guys from the side here that I've just built up a subtle apex. It's nothing huge because the nails aren't super long. Then I'm going to move back to the pointer finger and encapsulate this nail. So I've placed my bead of acrylic down in that apex area and I'm pushing it up towards the cuticle area. And then I'm just blending the top of that bead of acrylic down the nail. I'm leaving the bulk of it in that back third because, again, that's where we want our strength and structure to be. And then I'm going to come in with another bead of acrylic, placing that down on the nail, and I'm tapping it back to blend it in with the previous bead of acrylic. And then I'm going to walk this down towards the free edge. It didn't quite reach the tip as much as I wanted it to. I felt as though there was a little bit of a dip in that tip area. So I do come in with another small bead right at the very tip just to make sure that's built up enough. So So you'll see once again, I place that bead down. As you can see, it's a tiny amount of acrylic and I'm just blending it back. Always blend your acrylics back. I always find that they look and apply a lot smoother if I blend them back into that previous bead of acrylic. So now I'm going to come in and do exactly the same and encapsulate the middle finger. I didn't show you guys encapsulating the marble now because it was exactly the same. Whilst you guys are watching this bit, I just wanted to check in with you all and see how you are all doing. I know here in the UK, again, we're still in lockdown. I think I mentioned how boring it was in one of my previous videos, but I have been trying to throw myself into doing nails a little bit more and just try and motivate myself a little bit more to get in my nail room and at least do nails rather than just sitting around moping. So I hope you are all keeping safe and well. Once I've finished encapsulating this nail, I did the other one off camera and I did also do all of the filing off camera as well. So we're ready to jump into a little bit of on top nail art. To begin with, I'm going to be doing some stamping. So I'm using this plate from Born Pretty and I'm going to be using my clear jelly stamper to stamp with today. I'm absolutely loving this stamper, by the way, guys. It picks up everything absolutely brilliantly. And with that, I'm going to be using my Nicole Diary stamping polish. So the Nicole Diary stamping polish and Born Pretty plate I got from the Born Pretty website. And I do have a discount code for Born Pretty, so I will leave that in the description box below. And if you are looking for budget-friendly stamping polishes and stamping plates, I would highly recommend checking out the Born Pretty website. They have such a huge selection and they are so reasonably priced. I am also loving the clear jelly stampers and stamping polishes, but I do find them that little bit more expensive. So if you are just starting out in the world of stamping, I would definitely recommend checking out Born Pretty. Now I've just done a simple stamping design on this particular nail. If you would like to see a more in-depth stamping video, I will leave one linked in the description box below where I kind of go over how I stamp and some tips and tricks and things like that. Just because I was doing one simple design in this video, I've just flown through it. I'm then going to come in and top coat. So I'm not finished all of the nail art just yet, but I thought it'd be best to come in and top coat now because I'm going to be using chrome on the little finger and I didn't want that to get on top of the other nails. So I'm just going to come in with my Halo No Wipe top coat and apply an even layer of this to all of the nails. On this mermaid nail, I am also going to be applying some crystals as well. And once I've applied this to the nails, I'll pop them into cure for 60 seconds. Now towards this end part of the video, my camera just really struggled with the focus for some reason. I think it's the way I had my camera set up was a little different to usual. So when I'm bringing the brush onto the nails, it's focusing more on the brush than the nails, which was super annoying. So on the little finger, I'm going to be doing some chrome. I'm using a Mermaid pigment. Now this was just a cheap one that I picked up ages ago from AliExpress and it applies really nicely, but once I had top coated it, it didn't look as pearlescent as what it does here, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't really recommend this particular one. But all I'm doing is burnishing that into that cured top coat, and I will top coat again. However, I didn't show top coating again because it was really out of focus. But after I had applied the crystals, I did just put another layer of top coat over to seal that chrome in place. Moving on to the crystals, so I'm coming in with a jewelry gel and I'm just applying that jewelry gel roughly where I want my crystals to be. And then I'm going to leave that uncured and come over the top with my top coat once again. So I've basically got top coat to protect the stamping, which was cured. Then I've got the jewelry gel that's wet, and then I've got the top coat that's wet. And this is what I'm going to set my crystals into. So I'm placing down a Starfish Charm. This is also from Charlie's Nail Art because I wanted to stick with the mermaid theme. And then I'm just coming along the edge of that stamping with some AB crystals, just because I felt it finished the nail off rather than the stamping just ending where it was, because it was just on the tip of the nail. And then once I've applied these crystals and I'm happy with how they're all placed, I'm going to pop these nails into cure for 60 seconds and that will set those crystals in place. And that, guys, is the end of the design. I really hope you all enjoyed watching. I'm sorry if this voiceover feels a little bit rushed. I wanted to have this set up for Friday because that's the collaboration day, but I've had a crazy busy day homeschooling, so I've just quickly rushed through it this evening to hope that I can get up online on time. Anyway, this is what the finished set looked like. If you did enjoy watching, please give the video a thumbs up or let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're not already subscribed, I would love it if you did. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.